Hey you guys, welcome back. As you saw in the title, this is going to be a part 1 to the flame nails that I did. These are actually heart flame, you know, the trend in heart flames that everybody's doing. These are actually those, and you will see that at the end. But in this video, I just wanted to stick to marbling. I want to stick to how I do my marbles. So everybody has their own way of doing marbling. I just want to point that out right now. This is the easiest way for me, and this is how I do it. I'm going to be showing you how I do it with acrylic, and I'm also going to be showing you how I do it with gel polish. So here with the acrylics, these are all dynamic nail supply acrylics. And I'm using their monomer. I'm also using their brush. Now, I do suggest if you have a pointy brush, I can't remember if they're crimped or what is it? What are the two differences? Crimped and I can't remember, but there's one that's flat like this brush that I'm using, and then there's a pointy brush. If you have a pointy brush, it might actually work better for you doing marble design, since you kind of need you're basically like swirling and writing. That's how I describe it. But anyway, this is how I do it, and I do it with these type of the pinch brushes. That's the word I was looking for. Pinched and crimped. I don't know if they're different, but I think they're different. So this one is pinched, I believe. I might be getting the terms wrong. But I'll put it in this slot when I correct myself. But anyway, I'm taking 2 colors right now on my brush. My brush is pretty on the wet side, not super wet to where it's just completely falling apart, but I do go back in, and I always dip my brush back in the monomer to make the brush wet after I lay the bead down. That is to get a better swirl. Now on this one, I kind of messed up. I wouldn't say I messed up, because marble, you can't really mess up a marble. Like marble, excuse me. You can't really mess up a marble because it's not neat. Like it's not supposed to look neat. That's just how it is. So I went ahead and I just, after this last part, I went on to the next nail to show you exactly what I was trying to do. But right here, I'm taking the last bead, and this is for the cuticle area. You see how small it is? You do not want your bead to be big when marbling for the cuticle area, because remember, when you're marbling, you have to cap these nails so that when you file, you don't mess up the design. So you want to kind of lay the marbling acrylic kind of small, like flat. You don't want it to be bulky, like very thin. Thin is the word I was looking for. You want to lay it thin because they will be capped. So I just sped this part up, and I went to the next nail. So now I can really get into depth of what I do. Okay, so here I take my brush, I put one color on one side of the brush and another color on the same side of the brush, but on the opposite end. So, or on the same end, but on the opposite side. So right here, I'm patting it and then swirling it. And I just did that because the bead was kind of big and I didn't want it to be bulky, which I still ended up making this nail kind of bulky. But you see how it's dripping on the side? That's okay, you guys. That is okay. That's actually, for me, that's what I wanted to do. I want it to drip a little bit because look at this next bead. I think this is the bead where it's going to drip a little bit and just fall into place. So you see how I wet my brush again, and I added a little more white, and then I just swirl it, and you see how wet it is, and you see how it's just dripping. Look at it marbling. It's marbling on its own. Y'all see that? That's what I like. That's how I like to get my marble. And really, I should have kept it just like this. You see how that is? And I could have just capped it with clear. But since it was a little uneven, I decided to press it down, which kind of messed it up. But on a normal day, I would have kept it just like that. That is how you marble. And this is still a marble when I did pat it down. But just take note that when you pat on it, it's going to kind of mesh the colors together. So it's not going to be it's not going to be a crisp marble as it was before. So to avoid that, just lay thinner beads. Do not make your beads big like this. This is more on the thinner side, but do not make your, like that, the second one that I put down, do not make them that big. The smaller the bead, the flatter it's gonna lay. And you won't have to flatten it out, which means you won't have to mesh the colors. But this is how I do my marbling with acrylic. And yeah, it's just, honestly, marble, I'm a beginner, so for me, marbling is one of the easiest designs to do, just because you don't have to have any like crazy type of control. As long as you're not like flooding the cuticle, that's the only part that you want to be aware of and pay very close attention to when you're getting to the cuticle area, because that you still have to have some control over that part, but the rest of the nail, you do not really have to have any control over it. You're pretty much just laying beads down, but making sure that they're together and just letting them fall. That is the simplest way that I can explain to you how to do a marble. Now here, I was just adding a little more color because I didn't like how red it was at the bottom. I needed it to be a little more dimensional. So I went ahead and I added some more white and some more red, more so on the white side because that's what was missing from the bottom. And you see how that came out? It came out perfect. So we're going on to the third nail, and the third nail, you guys, are all 4 colors. So what I did, you see how I have the pink and the purple on one side and the red and the white on the other side. This is just to lay the acrylic all at once. You do not want to be laying them at separate times, because then you're going to give your acrylic time to dry. And you do not want this acrylic to be dry when marbling. You want it more on the wet side. It's just easier to work with. It does is, look at that. Y'all see how it just naturally marbled because of how wet it was? And all you have to do is swirl your brush. But when you are swirling the brush, make light strokes. Do not press hard on the acrylic. It's just going to mesh it together and you're going to get a blob. Like, that's what you're going to get. You'd want to do this very lightly and not too much. Know when to stop. Know when to stop swirling. Once you see that little swirl and you see the colors are kind of meshed, but not too much, stop. That's it. That's all you need. And move on to the next bead. It's so simple, you guys. Like, it's so simple. I promise you. Like, it's, oh my God. And it's so pretty. Like, who would have thought that one of the prettiest designs is the easiest designs? But I just keep doing the same thing with all the nails. And yeah, like, that's pretty much it, you guys. I do the same thing on the pinky, but I will show y'all, I'll talk y'all through the pinky as well, just because of how wet the beads were for the pinky, or how it wasn't even the bead. Well, yeah, it was the beads. I made the beads on the pinky really wet. So, it actually worked out for me. It worked in my favor because that was almost like the best nail that I had. So right here, I'm just filling in some spaces where I didn't feel like there was enough white, or, you know, if you're just missing a color that your eye catches it and you're like, that should have a little more white there, or it should have a little more pink there. Just go ahead and get another bead, get a small bead, and make sure that it's wet so that you can swipe away. As you saw, I was swiping away the bottom area because I didn't want that color down there. So all you have to do, if you mess up and don't want a color there, just swipe it away. So here I'm going on the pinky. Do you see how wet this bead is? It's super wet because my brush was super wet, but that is perfectly fine when doing marble. Again, this is perfectly fine when your brush is too wet. This is one of those times where you don't need to know a liquid to, oh my God, y'all, I can't talk. This is where you don't need to know a liquid to powder ratio. I mean, you do, but you don't. Like, you just lay the bead, girl. Like, just lay the bead and make it more on the wetter side. Make sure that you know a little bit about it, because you don't want it to be, especially when you get to the cuticle area, you have to know that. But as far as the marbling part, it's very beginner friendly. I feel like it's very beginner friendly. You do not have to be the major in liquid to powder ratio. I promise you, not for marbling. But if y'all notice, these beads were more wet than any beads that I laid on this whole set. But it worked, because you see that marble, it just came very naturally, and I didn't have to work it too much. Like, I pretty much just laid the beads, let them fall, and just wipe the sides and clean up the sides. So that's pretty much all I did for this nail. And this is how you get it with acrylic, and this is what it looks like afterwards. Y'all will see it towards the end how it looks with polish on it. Once you put the polish on it, y'all, I promise you it's a whole different look. Now, y'all see those flame hearts? I'm going to be doing a separate video, and it will be titled Flaming Hearts or something like that, part 2. So just be on the lookout for that. It's going to be either today or a few hours later, not too far apart. I'm not going to space it out too much. I just have to give it time to load up here. So now we are going to how to marble with gel polish. Now, people who do not use acrylic, this is great for polygel. My polygel gals and guys, these are super easy. What you do is you take two of the same color. You take 2 of different colors, or whatever colors that you want to use, or however many colors that you want to use. You put them on a plate and you just simply mix them lightly. Do not mix them so much that they just completely combine. Mix them so that they are like swirled, but not completely swirled, and just take your brush and swipe it through. If you have to play this back because I am talking a little slow, it already passed that part, but that is how I got this. That's how I got this. And you just keep swiping your brush one time through the entire thing. And you please do not mix your colors on the plate. It will make it a blob. It will make all the colors mesh, and you will not get this marble. So the first thing that I did was I put down blooming gel. You have to have blooming gel, or you can use top coat, but I don't feel like it spreads as good as blooming gel. So I went ahead and I did the blooming gel, and then I just literally all you do is swirl the gel polish up there. But you have to make sure that your swirl first on the plate is correct to get this look. And that is it. That is super, super simple for gel polish. So that is definitely the easier way versus acrylic. And right here, I'm just showing you guys, I did do a flame heart, and this will also be in the video of how I got this flame heart. It will be in the next video that I show with how to do flame hearts. So yeah, you guys, if you have any questions, let me know. I can do another video for you if you would like, but this is the end look of how they came out. That is the marble look, and I hope you all liked it. I will see y'all next time. Bye.